Hey there, Munchie Mafia, and welcome. We were supposed to go live the other day, but unfortunately, we had a little bit of a mishap with our internet. And we finally got it back, so that's why we're running today, because my shrimp is going to go bad if I don't get it cooked off. So, anyway, what we're doing is we're doing a tribute to my father, who the other day he would have turned 118 years of age. He died at the age of 93. And he was a World War II veteran and prisoner of war. And so we're going to visit some of my family favorites from my childhood, and that's chicken adobo and pancit canton. So before we start to run our intro, while we wait for others to get here, I'd like to ask for y'all to take a moment and go over to Butler Family Farm 2005. He's got I think it's in the shorts section, or it could be in the video section. They are in the running for America's favorite couple, and they need your votes. So if you have Facebook, go and click on the link that's in the description in their video or short. I can't remember which one it is, but you'll see it. It's pretty easy to spot. And go give them a vote. So let's get to it.
There's a banana in the cauldron. There's a banana in the cauldron. I want to say that it was Katie who put banana in the cauldron. Oh, Katie,
what have you done?
Gather round, my friends.
Gather round the campfire.
Gather closer, my friend.
I want to tell you a story.
Oh, are you
Ready?
well? It was a dark and stormy night. The rain fell upon an old tin roof, making a rat-a-tat-tat heartbeat that echoed down the lonely corridor. The wind whipped down the desolate street, creating creaky, sharp scratches of thorny rose bushes against the window pane. At the end of the road there lies a dark secret, deep within the shadows of Mount Rainier. There is a spooky, historic farmhouse where the Munchie Mafia meets
On YouTube every Sunday nightfall, they watch for the telltale sign
of ghosts and ghouls of dishes past. And there's always that one person that asks, what is up with all the bananas? This is so weird. Keep the cliffhanger.
You crazy mofo!
That's in chapter 2.
The spirits are getting restless.
As the lightning streaks against the foreboding clouds, with barely a glimmer of the summer solstice moon, alight with its airy crimson and gold, a kitchen which weaves a little magic upon a cast iron pot upon her stove.
With the stirring stir of her mystical wood explode.
She whispers her spell upon her bubbling brew. This potion tastes like bananas fostered. Why, oh, why, oh, why?
Katie, why banana bob is tasty.
Keep not a flicker.
That's a twerking banana.
And why is it
Mocking me. Ha, ha.
the wheel goes round and round, stopping at one ingredient at a time?
Some are winners, some are losers.
Who the fork suggested Twizzlers?
Oh,
This banana is possessed.
what kind of voodoo is this?
You're going to hell
For that one, a dash of love here, a tiny pinch of passion there, a little bubble bubble, a splash of toilet trouble.
Me tiger's pants disappear. Hashtag
Bang tiger on the double.
Okay, and we're back. And we have Cindy Dogwood Cottage, Yes I Can Barbecue, Greg Johnson, Tiger Jones, Sarah Prestwood, and Butler Family Farm, 2005, High Plains Camper, Shade Tree Cook, Simply Jan Homestead, and Katie's Kitchen is also here. Tuber Chat's here as well. And Devil Dog was here, but I think he's busy at the moment. And YouTube Police 29 is also here, but probably still at work. So, hello and welcome. Happy birthday to a couple of Sarah Prestwood's family members. Her grandmother's turning 102. It's also her brother's birthday. And Cindy, I'm sorry to hear all about your tooth getting pulled. I hope you get well soon. All right, so first off, what we need to do is we need to create a marinade. This is just a quick marinade. We're going to use some soy sauce. It's about a cup of soy sauce or somewhere thereabouts. I hate these small dribble pour spouts. These things are so annoying. And to make a long story short, I almost ended up buying Starlink today. But fortunately, the last tech that came out today, we had two techs came out today. One that came out yesterday, and the tech that just left the house just a little bit ago was the one that, got us all squared away. We've got sugar cane vinegar. We're going to go part of that. It's going to be about a quarter cup of that. So a total of half cup of vinegar. And so we're going to go with rice vinegar. I don't like using white vinegar. My dad has always used apple cider vinegar, but I really like this sugar cane vinegar. This stuff was hard to find back in my childhood, but in the Philippines, not a problem. And my dad always put what was known as bagoong in his, but we don't have that because I'm not fishing right now. So we're going to just give it a little dash of fish sauce and put some on the table too while we're at it. So a couple dash of that. And then we are going to get peppercorns. I'm going to have to raid my peppercorn mill for peppercorns. My dad always said, count your peppercorns so you know how many to take out. And if you have one less, then you might have to go hunting around for it some more. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 was always his magic number. Every cook has a magic number, whether they know it or not. Mine is 7, 11, and 13. But his was 15. All right, so now we have that and that. We're going to put just a little smidge of ginger in it because you need a little bit of ginger. And I use the Gourmet Garden ginger paste. Whatever I don't use, I can just put this in the freezer and it holds almost indefinitely. And, of course, my dad didn't smoke his garlic. I do. We're going to put some cloves of garlic in there. And everybody's heard the speech about the smoked garlic, so I'm just not going to go there today. So we're going to do about the equivalent of about 5 cloves of garlic. So that's 2. Oh, there's Double Dog. Hey, Double Dog, hoorah! So now, and sometimes all you have to do, just grab it by the base of where it connects to the bottom of the bulb and just give it a squeeze, and it just squeezes out just easily. It's already been cooked because it was in the smoker. And it's good to go. It cuts back on the sharpness of garlic. But at the same time, it gives it a smoky flavor to it and brings out a natural sweetness to it while cutting back on the sharpness. Normally, I don't find that unappealing, but I find smoked garlic far more appealing, so that's why I do it. All right, and then we're going to need a little bit of sugar. Question: what are we making? We are making Filipino chicken adobo. And I'm going to show you the trick to steamed rice, and we're going to talk about the type of rice that's used in Filipino culture, and also a little bit about the Philippines maybe, and a little bit about my dad, and not so much about my adventure with almost buying Starlink today. I'll save that for another time, not bother y'all with it. So one healthy dose of turbinado sugar. So that's what we're making. And then of course bay leaves, because we definitely need bay leaves. And usually I put a lot more than that in it than what I got, but I forgot to buy some more. I use bay leaves a lot. So usually it's about 5 bay leaves, but you want to give them a crushing. You don't want to leave them whole. At least I don't like to leave them whole. My dad used to leave them whole so that he could pick them out, or so that they're easy to find, because nobody really wants to eat bay leaves. They just want the taste of it. And there's just something about bay leaves that just, really warms my heart. Okay, so whiskey whisk all those ingredients together. Okay, doesn't take much at all to whiskey whisk. Now, the turbinado sugar is not going to melt easily. If you don't want to use turbinado sugar and you want to use brown sugar, you can definitely do that. But we're not going to put any cornstarch in this at all. We're going to put cornstarch toward the finish, because that's what's going to create all the tasty goodness. I should probably get a tasting spoon just to make sure that everything tastes just so, because I don't want to offend my ancestors, or my father for that matter. Needs a little bit more acid. It's just not quite there yet. So I'm just going to use up the rest of this. There we go. All right. Give it a tasty taste. It needs more acid. You'll know when you taste it, because it's going to have almost a salty, sour umami flavor to it. But as the sugar starts to dissolve, it's going to carry on a little bit of a sweetness. And that's what we're looking for, is that sweetness. Right there. So it was about a cup and a half. Now we're going to take our chicken. You always want to use skin on and bone in. Thighs always work best. We're going to just coat that in there and just rotate them and just let them sit and get happy in this sauce while we take care of the rice. Hello, Todd. I didn't say hi to you when I answered your question. I'm sorry. A little bit of a discombobulated mess this week, so there we have that. Okay, so press it all down so that at least it's all somewhat submerged. Sometimes they'll just kind of want to float. They'll be floaters, and that's okay. clean up our mess a little bit. Put that over here. Now, we're going to just also set that over here as well, because we don't want that to get in the way of things at the moment. Now, the Philippines is an interesting area in Asia in that they grow their own rice. There's a lot of rice farms out there, and my family grew and harvested rice, and it's kind of fun because I had a chance to go to the Philippines numerous times to visit family and connect with my ancestors and so on. And when they go and pick the rice, they'll dry it out, and then they'll lay the husked rice out on mats, and you got this huge ass thing that looks like a big post, right? And it stands about 5 feet tall, and it kind of goes like that, right? Kind of like the picture perfect hourglass figure. And several people will be over there just pounding at the rice to break up the husks. When they've done that, what they'll do is they'll take the mat. Several people will go along and they'll shake the mat together, and that blows all the husks out, and you end up with unpolished rice. Now, with unpolished rice, it takes a little bit longer to cook, but it tastes so much better than the stuff that we have. So the closest that I've ever been able to find in the States is Calrose, and this is what a lot of Filipinos use. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, you gotta measure your rice, and you gotta measure your water out. You gotta rinse your rice. You gotta do this and do that." I don't do any of that. So just get your rice in there. This is a 3/4 cup, so that's 1.5, and that's 2.25 cups of rice. So that's fun. We're avid fans of rice. So now we get this laid out, right? Now, if you are a Filipino and you don't know how to make rice, you have to turn in your Filipino card. You just can't be Asian anymore. So every Filipino knows how to cook rice. And if I didn't learn, it would be like a slap in the face to my ancestors. And so one of the first things that I ever learned how to cook was how to prepare rice properly. So you take your finger and you bend your finger. You see where your knuckle is? You're going to set the tip of your finger, your pinky finger, right on top of the rice, and you're going to pour the water in very gently so as not to disturb the rice, right? And it's going to fill up. It's going to fill up, and it's going to fill up. And and all over the floor. I'm not used to pouring things left-handed, obviously. Well, my crock is full of water. So then what you're going to do is you're going to, with your pinky finger still there, you're going to feel for your knuckle, right? That's about where you're going to want to put the water, is up to that knuckle. As long as you do that, you can't go wrong. Your rice will be golden. You do not need to get those really expensive rice cookers or anything like that. So I'm going to clean up my mess of water over here off my floor. It's in my crock, so there's nothing I could do. Now we're going to take it, put it on the stove. And we're going to turn it on high, and we're going to let it do its thing. Let's get that out of the way until the water boils. And then we're going to turn it down. And then, sorry, I got a lot of water on the floor. We're going to turn it down to a medium low, and we're going to put a lid on the top of that. And as long as you do that, you don't have to worry about getting a fancy piece of kitchen equipment that is just going to basically sit in your cupboard, and you might only use it maybe once a week, a couple times a month. maybe never, because all you have to do is just cook it in a pot. Now, when it comes to cooking off huge, when it comes to cooking off huge batches of rice for a large crowd, it's perfectly all right to use a rice cooker, but not necessary. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for the super chat. All right, so our chicken is sitting here getting happy, and here's our lid. Let's go and take a gander at what's in the box. This is a new box. I got a new box that has bigger containers. So the basics to Filipino adobo is using onion. And this is just a sweet white onion. And it's just cut into a julienne. And we also have, for our pancit, we've got some shiitake mushrooms, some baby carrot, and some red bell pepper. You can use whatever color bell pepper you want.
Baby carrots.
Or baby corns. This is going to be for the adobo, this amount. This is going to be for the pancit. The larger one's going to be for the chicken adobo. Baby corn. What the hell? Or baby carrots. What's wrong with me? I'm a ding ding. Two to 1 water to rice, unless you want sticky rice, and add a half cup. Sometimes. Filipino way. This is how I learned how to cook rice. I don't need that anymore. That is empty. All right. So we don't need the wok just yet. So I recently acquired a new saute pan, or sauteuse pan, and this is by Caraway, and it's a stainless steel pan, and it has nice rolled edges. It's not overly heavy, but it's got some heft to it. But one of the things I like is it's got a little notch here to tell you, don't go any further or else you're going to burn yourself. So it's a pretty good size for what we're going to use it for. So we're going to just get that on the stove. I'm going to find do you know where the lid went, Timmy?
Yeah, right there underneath it.
Oh. Just wondering where. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you're right. And these boxes are made by Vivor, and I love them because they can hold all your mise en place, so you're not having to chase around a whole lot of stuff. You can also put ice underneath and use it for taco bars and stuff like that. This one came with a whole bunch of goodies. Now this is not sponsored by them. I just like their stuff, but you know, it's got tongs and little shovels and spoons and stuff like that to dig out all your condiments. I like them because that way I can get all my stuff ready for a live stream or for a cook. Just grab it out of the fridge and go, you know. But you can also put ice under there if you're cooking outside. I highly recommend these. And I bought that, by the way, so it wasn't given to me to do a review or anything. So that's doing its thing. We're going to turn this pan on. I'm going to turn that on because I know that I'm going to set off the smoke detector. I just know it. And we're going to get our chicken ready to rumble. So what I like to use as far as oil goes is a combination of 2 oils, because sesame oil can be very pungent and very smoky. We don't want that much of that flavor profile. So I usually do like a 3-to-1 ratio of olive oil and sesame oil. Now, if you don't want to use sesame oil because you really don't have much use for it any other time, just stick with whatever oil you got. It's perfectly all right. So There we have that. That's just extra virgin olive oil. We got that. Let's grab our chickens and a glove. We're going to need a little bit of cornstarch in a little bit to finish this so that the pan sauce can get all nice and happy. Hey, Whistle Stop, welcome. And I also posted the grocery list and equipment list up onto the community tab for the upcoming cook-along with Ed, Eddie, and Jerry Butler of Butler Family Farm. So that's coming up next week, I think. I don't know what day it is anymore. All right, so let's move our oil around. Let's see where we're at. We're not quite there yet. Just take a little dash of that, throw it on there, and it's starting to sizzle. So now this is going to spit at you because it's wet, okay? So try to shake off as much as humanly possible. Lay it skin side down. And it's okay to crowd the pan because this is going to braise for a little while after we get this all nice and cooked. We're not going to cook it all the way through, but we're going to cook it enough so that it can continue to braise as we go along. And it's got a nice sizzle. Our rice is going, so we're going to reduce the temp down and then cap it off with the lid. Where did I put the lid? There it is. Lid. These caraway pans are pretty darn nice. Pretty happy with it. Just like the way that they cook their 5-ply. They have non-sticks. What temp is the burner on? On the chicken is going to be well, for me it's on the dial it's a medium high. It's on a 7 of 10, but my burners are a little weird, so they're not always absolutely accurate. So I'm just gonna let them do their thing. These pans have a really nice polished surface, as long as you're taking good care of them and not doing anything with a lot of abrasives. Not putting them in the dishwasher and washing them by hand, although I've put it in the dishwasher 3 times. I wanted to see how well this is going to react. But there is quite a lot of oil in there, so they're going to slide around just fine. I'm trying to beat up this pan a little bit. See if I like it in another month or two. If I can still sing its praises. So I try to abuse the hell out of things just to see how well it'll react. And of course, because it's a 5-ply, you don't want to dump lots of cold stuff into it while it's hot, or else these type of pans tend to warp. So just let it cool down. A little bit of liquid is okay, but don't just fill it full of cold water out of the sink to soak it. Soak it after it's cooled off. And that will improve the longevity of your pan. Not just this kind of pan, but all pans. They all have the tendency to warp. I'm planning on cooking foods high in acid in this a bunch of times and see how it goes. I want to give this thing a what for. Hello, Mike's Adventure Sparks. I have a burner that I put on 4 and turn my back and it goes to Inferno. Yeah, this one can do the same thing too. It can sometimes decide, you know what? Nope, not today, Satan. We're gonna just set off the smoke detectors. And make Timmy run upstairs, go turn that one off too, because to hell with you. it'll smoke up the house, something fierce. So I usually start it on a 7 and see where we're at. And then sometimes I have to turn it down. Other times I have to turn it up to an 8. Take a look at our chicken skins. Chicken skins are starting to get a little brown. We want to get a really good Maillard reaction to that skin to get it somewhat reasonably crispy, because when we go to flip it over, we're going to add back this marinade into the pan and let it do its thing, and then we're going to just give it a splashy splash of chicken stock with some cornstarch as a slurry, and then let it finish. So we do want some thickener in there, and cornstarch is one of the better ones. Now, if you have an allergy to corn or corn products in general, or just don't like cornstarch because you think it's too gooey, you can use other things like arrowroot powder, or potato starch is also good. Potato starch is often found at a lot of Asian markets. That really works really well because it's also a very, very neutral base, and people can't say, it tastes a little cornstarchy. So I hope that helps out with that. Todd Saw says, Ed, did you know flamingo tongue was one of the most famous delicacies of ancient Rome? True story. That's interesting. I never knew that. So basically all these flamingos running around without tongues. Alright. Take a look at our chicken. See how it's starting to brown a little bit? We want it really brown. We want to see a lot of Maillard reaction. You might have to flip it around a little bit depending on the size of your burner and the type of your burner, because no two burners are alike, no two stoves are alike. This can definitely be cooked outdoors in cast iron. Let's just give your chicken a rotate. Now if it's going to stick, see this is a hot spot right there. So we're going to actually start moving things around a little bit. Just want to get that turned around. I think that was right. Take a look at this one. Yeah, see that one? So now what we're going to do is we're just going to bump these around and do a little circle so that these chickens they're sitting in a little bit cooler spot, can actually get a little bit of that heat, get a kiss of that heat on there, just like so. And that way we can also make sure that everything's cooking evenly. Plus my stove kind of sits at I think it's actually going that way a little bit, so, no, it's going that way a little bit. So there's less liquid over here, so just kind of tilt it, get some of that underneath, give it a swirly swirl, twirly twirl, and call it a day. And we might as well start dumping our onion in there on the very top so it can start to release some of the flavor of that onion. Kind of just pop it around. And it smells delightful. I wish you all could smell this. And it's only supposed to have a slightly sweet flavor to it. Now, if you really like fish sauce, you can definitely use that. Use a little bit more than usual. But keep in mind that a lot of those fish sauces are very salty, as well as soy sauce. And this is going to become highly concentrated, so you want to make sure that you are not overly salting anything. So I don't recommend putting salt in there. Maybe go over it with a finishing salt at the end. But taste it first and see where you're at before you start adding anything more that's salty. And this chicken here is supposed to, be kind of fall off the bone sort of thing. Let's see how we're doing. Oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? The chicken skin's going to be delicious. We want to render some of that fat underneath that skin. And if you don't like brown or dark meat, you can definitely go with chicken breast, but definitely use chicken breast with the skin still on. You don't want to use the bone-in chicken breast because then it's going to cook uneven. It's just not as good. It's not as flavorful when you don't have that bone in there, or the skin for that matter, because that collagen is what helps to make this dish delicious. So, preferred rice of Filipinos is calrose. Just keep that in mind. Alright. Let that do its thing for a little bit. We don't want to disturb our rice because we want it to be able to have time on that burner with the steam. And yes, I'm still in my pajamas. Let's see here. I have a burner that I put on 4 and goes into an inferno. Already read that. Let's see here. Am I on? Oh no, I'm on all messages. I think the last one I replaced was about $50. Burner had a mind of its own and would go max randomly. New control, back to normal, took about 15 minutes to change. Yeah, you can change the surface element. I'm not sure about the control switch. One that goes rogue or dangerous, not that expensive to replace and regain good control. Yes, I agree with that. One of my cousins, she and her husband were flipping houses, and they bought this house out on the ocean, and she just walked outside for a few moments while she was frying chicken and burnt the whole house down. Thankfully, nobody was inside. All right. This chicken has seen a bit of temperature on one side. Let's take a look at the other ones. Oh yeah, see that? We're gonna flip this one over. Let some heat touch that touch the back side of that chicken thigh. You can also do drumsticks. Drumsticks are really pretty, especially if you're feeding a whole lot of people. You can use a full-size hotel pan on 2 burners and be able to cook that way. You're just going to want to cook at a lower temperature because those burners are not very thick, or those pans are not very thick on the bottoms. You can cook like an entire family-sized package, which comes in handy if you're cooking for a bunch of people. Filipino food is just absolutely wonderful. I was going to show you how to make biko and lumpia wrappers from scratch, but I just don't have it in me. After the week that I've had, I just can't do that. So we'll just have to save that for another time. Alright, so now we got that going. We got them flipped over, meat side down, skin side up. Now we're going to transfer all this beautiful liquid back into the pan and say, hello, look at me. We're going to want to scrape some of that sugar that had settled on the bottom right back in there. Now we're going to let that come to temp. Okay. And then once when we get a good temperature on that, then what we're going to do from there is we're going to put the lid on it and let it ride on a medium low, and we're going to start on our pancit canton, which I got a bag of stir-fry vegetables. It's got supposedly a little packet of teriyaki sauce in here. We're not using that because there's no teriyaki in Filipino cooking. I'm not feeling it. Oh, there it is. And besides, I like to make my own teriyaki sauce from scratch. If you would like to see how to make teriyaki sauce from scratch, it should be within my chicken wing videos that I posted maybe 2 years ago. So this is a teriyaki stir fry kit. It's It's got a little bit of everything. It's got kale and broccoli and cabbage, carrots, some peas, and red cabbage. But we're also going to add all the other things to it. And we're going to make a stir fry of sorts. Hello, Penny Ortiz, and welcome. So, my dad, everybody affectionately called him Ted. His full name was Tranquilino. And he was the person who raised me. And he taught me how to fish, taught me how to cook, and taught me about the simple pleasures in life. And that's, being present among your friends and your family and being there for your friends and family for whatever they may need whenever humanly possible. There was very rarely an occasion when he's had to say no to family. And he was the one who took care of just about everybody in the family. He was the patriarch. He helped several of my family members make it to the United States, and one of them is my father's favorite niece, who is named Regina, and that happens to be my middle name. He actually named me after her, and where are you going, Timmy? Huh? Oh. And sadly, just before the 4th of July, my cousin Regina, her husband Tomas, had passed after multiple years battle with cancer that cost him his leg years ago. So he almost made it to his 80th birthday. And that was her husband. But, he was my father's favorite niece. And we're just waiting for this to get all nice and bubbly. We're going to let it reduce just a little smidgen. And Timmy's going to take the dogs out. So, my father joined the U.S. Army back in the early 1940s. He even lied about his age in order to be able to get in, because that was his opportunity to not only participate in World War II for the Americans, but it also gave him the opportunity to become a U.S. citizen. He was part of the Pyramidiers bomb group. And I have like his original flight log of all the places that he had been, and he was flying out of Africa. And he's actually mentioned in a couple of books because of his contribution to the war efforts. And he was just an amazing man. He was shot down over Romania, and the entire crew punched out of the plane and survived, but my father and one other person was taken captive. And he was held in a POW camp with a bullet in his leg. He almost lost his leg. And he was there for about 10 months. And when he finally got out of the POW camp, he appeared in the United States again by way of Mississippi, and that's where he took up residence just ever so briefly. He married a woman by the name of Lida Lucky, and this was I don't know how many wives she was. But he was a serial groom, kind of like I'm a serial bride. So when he got back to the United States, they had taken up residency in Mississippi. Can't remember I'll remember later what town it was, but there was a book called Dear Boys, letters from letters home, or letters from home, or something. I think it was Letters from Home. It was written by Summerfield is his last name. I've got the book somewhere. I think it's fallen behind the bookcase, but I still have it. And so it tells the story about all these women that were helping with the war efforts during World War II. And there were letters that was written about the wives that were left behind while their husbands were off to war. And my dad is actually mentioned in that book because he was married to Lida Lucky, and that's how I found out about her. But their marriage was annulled because back then there was problems with interracial relationships, apparently. So that marriage was annulled. And I often wonder what would have happened had they stayed married. If maybe I would have been their daughter. Who knows? I don't know. But it's kind of an interesting story. So he gave up medical school to come to the United States to try to make an even greater life for his family. And so he used the military as that way to get into the country. And he was a very patriotic man. He used to put out the flag on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, any kind of day that would, that we could celebrate America, even President's Day and so on and so forth. It was pretty cool. But he cooked his way around the United States until he finally landed in California, in Stockton, California, and he flew crop dusters. But he ended up getting his pilot license revoked because he was dropping labor union pamphlets from the crop duster onto the farms. And so eventually he ended up in Skamania, Washington, with another wife in tow. Her name was Hazel Fletcher, but she was underage. And the father was so enraged that he had sent his, sent the police after my father and said that he wouldn't press charges if his daughter would willingly come back home. So at that time he was like in his mid 40s or something like that. But that was a much different time back then. It wasn't out of the ordinary for teenagers to get married. But in the Philippines, it's like it was perfectly normal for children to get married. So we're going to turn this burner on to a 4 in the back. We're going to pop that back there, and we're going to give it a cover. And then we're going to turn that down because I don't want to turn it off. Great little town, Skamania. Yes, it is. Back in the Depression era, it was considered the honeymooners' town in Washington State, of all places. It's where everybody went to honeymoon. Maybe that's why my dad went there. So then later on, he ended up in Washington State because of that marriage and that annulment. And he opened up a little cafe in Pike Place Market, and that's when he met his latest wife. And she had a child in tow from a former marriage, and then there was me, right? So I was my dad's little princess, and he doted over me, and all of his friends doted over me. They all thought I was just so adorable and stuff like that. And I was spoiled rotten. I was a spoiled kid, and I will I will admit that. And that was one of my character flaws, was that I was spoiled. I like to get my way. I like to say, no, 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 you dick. You're going to pay attention to what I'm saying to you, and you're going to do as you're told. It's my character flaw. Just like today when I had to talk to the escalation team at Comcast. At one point this morning, I was like, no, you're going to stop what you're saying right now, because I'm going to tell you right now, you are not allowed to say the words, I understand, or I understand your frustration for the duration of this conversation. I do not want to hear those words out of your mouth. One more time. One more time. Go on. I dare you. I was so pissed. I mean, I was just absolutely livid today. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'll save the rest of that for another day when I'm not so mad. Yes, I still am. It's like I've got a domineering presence about me, I guess. Some people think that I'm just very very confident, but it's not confidence. It's my character flaw. I like to be right, unless I'm wrong. Okay, so we're going to take about half of this chicken broth. We don't want to do all of it, okay? And then, I shouldn't have thrown my whiskey whisk away. And if you have half of these left over, pitch them into the freezer. It gives them enough room for it to swell as it freezes, and you can use it another time. And they work just fine. Because when you're cooking for two, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you end up with a whole lot of leftovers, and it's hard to cook for two people sometimes. But you know, the way that we do it here is I'll cook for two for several days, and we'll eat that for just about a week, you know. But this time I'm only cooking enough for dinner tonight, maybe a little bit of lunch. So we're going to add a little bit of cornstarch, and we're going to give that a whiskey whisk. And Timmy's on the porch with the dogs, and we don't have the Wi-Fi hooked up to the ATEM. I don't think you could switch the camera angle. But we're whiskey whisking. Okay. Alrighty. Then we're going to just set that aside. I'm going to get rid of this. Actually, no, I'm not going to get rid of that because I know what's going to happen. It's going to settle. So we're just going to give it a moment. Set it over here. Handle facing away from where I stop splashing all over the damn place. My goodness gracious. I'm a spaz. Okay. So I put my wok in the oven. Not to preheat or anything. Just to get it out of the way because I know I need to clean my countertop. This is starting to look like a kitchen hoarder's mess back here. I know that people kind of laugh about that. They're like, God, why does she do that intentionally? No. Okay, so we're going to give this a healthy dose of oil. This is my my wok. I got a new wok that I'm going to hopefully get around to showing off on our next live cook outdoors. And what we're going to be cooking is a Thai pineapple fried rice. So that's coming up soon. Oh God, Todd, it took us 45 minutes just to get to a human the first time we called. Mind you, we talked to a total of 7 people. We had a total of 3 techs out. The third one was actually worth a shit. So we're actually going to give him a 10-star rating. As opposed to the other 2, it's like, you know, yeah. Anyway, back to that. Can't connect from out here. Okay, so I don't really want to tell you how I really feel because I don't want that to spoil, you know, what we're doing here right now, because you know, this is about you know, making food from my childhood, you know. Oh, it's 4 techs. Okay, I'm being corrected. It's been 4 techs. 1, 2. No, I guess it is 4 techs. 7 phone calls though. It's stupid. It is just so incredibly stupid. So, did Timmy lock himself out of the house? Oh, okay. I heard a bang bang. All right. So he didn't lock himself out of the house. That's always a good thing. But maybe I want to. What? We did?
The boom truck guy.
Oh yeah, the boom truck guy. Well, technically that would be 5 because it was the boom truck guy that put a block on our line. So technically 5. The one that caused the problem. Somewhat. Part of it was a bad splitter. But don't you love it when they tell you go buy a new modem, or you need a new modem because the modem's bad, but it's not the modem. Alright, so we're going to need some garlic. And I love this stuff. So, when it comes to pancit, you want to give it some contrast and flavor. Okay? So, I'm going to bust open that so we can just go squishy squish like a zit. Just like so. Oops, some paper in there. I don't want the skin. So, my dad was a cool guy. He taught me how to fish, taught me how to cook. Used to go clam digging and fishing. And I had another cousin who lived over in Wapato, which is just outside of Yakima. Sort of. It's actually technically part of Yakima. But she had a farm out there, and she had acreage about the size of the Butlers. But they didn't have any animals. Well, no, I take that back. They had some animals, not a lot. They didn't have cows. They had goats and chickens and turkeys and so on. But I got to spend a lot of summers over there on the farm. I remember trying to steal one of her barn kittens, stuck it in the back of the truck, and my dad kept hearing mewing noises and pulled over at the rest stop and realized that I had stolen a kitten, so we had to drive all the way back. We were already halfway home, so we had to drive all the way back just to return the kitten. I was so devastated. I so desperately wanted my own kitten, you know. Okay, now that I've done that, because that stuff's sticky and icky. Alright, so first off, we want to start with the mushrooms and the onions. But we're going to take this with us too. We're going to drop this out of the way so we can get it out of the way. Put it over here with the other box. These things are so lightweight. Okay, so we want to cook some of the texture out of this so that it has a nice meaty texture. I love mushrooms. And we're going to use this. And we're going to add the onions to it. So we want to get those somewhat caramelized. And a little pinch of salt, not a lot of salt. It's going to help to take some of the moisture out of those those mushrooms. So we want to get some color on these mushrooms. But we don't want to put the soft things in just yet, okay? This story is beyond ridiculous. What, my story? About my dad?
No,
Oh, okay.
you're way behind.
I know. Clam digger pants? No, I did not. I just wore whatever the hell I wore. Jeans, shorts, whatever. Vent holes lint free. Yeah. My kitchen and everything drying out. It's been longer than a day. Oh, wonderful. Good to hear, Sarah. We got 15 people in chat. And 17 likes. Awesome. Alright. Stirry stir. Forgot to turn that up because we do need that at a higher temperature. Alright. So one of the things about these caraways is they have some pretty hefty lids on them. They have a nice sized vent hole on the front or on the top. It's not a little pissy ass little vent hole. So it's going to help to release some of that steam while also locking in the flavor. Okay. There we have that. Now there's two kinds of noodles that you can use for pancit. Now pancit Canton uses just some Cantonese egg noodles, whereas the other Filipino pancit has mung bean thread or glass noodles. We're doing the egg noodles because I like the egg noodles far better because it's more like a chow mein. Let's stir our slurry and chicken stock. We're just taking care of all these mushrooms. Alright, spread those out a little bit so that they all get equal treatment on the heat. Has everyone been checking my pictures on my community post, says Sarah Presswood? I have not. But then again, we haven't had internet for a few days. And what little internet we did have, it was very slow. So we haven't really been around much. So I'm sure that I'm behind on watching everybody's stuff. So I'm going to try my best to get through that this weekend. Yeah, I was kind of afraid that we weren't going to be able to do this live. To the point where I was like, maybe I could just bring the barbecue up to the front porch. And we can just do our live stream via telephone or via cell phone. Do a vertical live cook. I didn't really want to do that, but push was going to come to shove. Either way, we were going to go live or just sit on the porch and talk. But I don't want to be a talking head because I'm a little bit ridiculous. Okay, so we got our mushrooms and onions. Our mushrooms and onions are looking quite good. Our onions are starting to really get a little bit on the translucent side. So next, so the ones that I like to use are Blue Dragon Cantonese egg noodles, and they're these little pucks that kind of look like ramen bricks. So we're going to add those to that. Swing around. We're going to need some green onion paste by Gourmet Garden and some ginger, but we're not going to add those just yet. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to splash a little bit of this chicken broth in there and let it get happy. Not a lot, just a little bit. And now we have something to protect the garlic. We're going to take the garlic and we're going to add it to that, just like that. And we're going to give it a splash of soy sauce. About a 1/4 cup, actually, not just a splash. We're going to add a little bit of that sugar cane vinegar, about 2 tablespoons worth, should be about right. And a little tiny light dash of fish sauce, about 10 drops. Okay. Not supposed to be sour, but it's also supposed to have some flavor to it. So now we're just going to let that heat up. These noodles will start to soften. So just flippy flip and flippy flip. These are not cook them in boiling water and then dump them in. This is a let them cook in the liquid. They will absorb much of that liquid and will also help to act as a thickener as well. So let's check our rice. See how our rice is doing. That rice is done. I could tell because it's got some little vent holes in there and it's pretty rock solid. So now I like to use my little mini Dutch ovens because it keeps it warm for a while. Now we're going to take a look at our chicken, and there's our beautiful chicken. Look at that. And we're going to take the lid off and we're going to up the temperature just a smidge, get rid of this lid, put it in the oven for right now. Because we want to be able to reduce that. And chicken skin looks delightful. This is looking quite good. It's very delicious. It's going to be a beautiful pan sauce. And chicken legs. It's going to be releasing a lot of that goodness that we need, you know, because we need collagen. Okay, so now I'm going to flippy flip these. These are starting to break down. See how those are starting to break down and some of that liquid is going away? That's okay. Pretty soon we're going to drop the vegetables and the shrimp and then the vegetables. You want to just get those noodles to soften up somewhat, just like so. But at this point, we're going to add some of that ginger paste. You're going to want however much or however little. A little goes a long way, so about a teaspoon of ginger. Not a lot, okay? You don't want to go too overboard because this is supposed to be very delicate in flavor, yet punchy from the umami bomb. But you're going to do a couple tablespoons of the green onion paste. Okay, mixy mix. Let that sit over there. And now we're going to come over and grab our harder vegetables. Just drop those on top of the noodles, okay? Then we're going to stir those up in just a moment. Stirry stir. We're going to get our shrimps. These are just raw deveined shrimps. And if you don't like shrimps or are allergic to shrimps, you can do little chunks of chicken. Or just vegetables. If you want to just go with something vegetarian, just use vegetable stock and just all the vegetables you want. Because this is a side dish, okay? Now we're just going to stir this all around. And see how a lot of that liquid has gone away. That's okay. Now we're going to just stir all this all together until those shrimps are done and ready to rock and roll. And it doesn't take very long on the shrimps, maybe 2 minutes tops. Kind of just bring everything together just like so. But we're going to add that vegetable at the very, very last. So this is starting to reduce we're going to want to add this chicken slurry right into the pan and just give it a stir. And yes, it's a metal utensil, but I'm not really hitting the bottom of the pan. I'm just using the chicken to move it around. And we're going to see how we're doing. Okay. Because you're going to want that beautiful sauce that's in there to spoon over the top of your rice, because you definitely need that for your rice. And we're going to come back over here and flippy flip. You don't want to add too much cold stuff to the pan. Now, if you have a gas stove, this could go a lot faster. I should have done this as an outdoor cook so we can really get that wok fired up. Because like I said, I just got a new wok, and it's cast iron for outside. I'm just going to give it a splashy splash of water. So I might have undercut it a little bit. There we go. Check our chicken. Yep. Alright, we're going to just flippy flip our chicken so it's skin side down toward the finish there. That's going to help to get that all nice and glistening. That's getting pretty thick, but we want it to be a little thicker. So let's come over here. We're going to flippy flip this. Get those shrimps nice and cooked through. Now, you don't want to overcook your shrimps. These are just pink shrimps. They're nothing fancy. You can also do crab and lobster and mussels if you want. For an all seafood, if you're pescatarian, just use fish stock or vegetable stock, whichever. You can also put tofu in here, but I would marinate the tofu overnight in the same adobo marinade, or same flavor of adobo marinade. Maybe set some of the marinade aside just for the tofu. And then sear it, and then cut it into little cubes. I'm not too much of a fan of tofu because it's just too much soy. Soy's in everything. I try to stay away from soy as much as humanly possible, with exception to soy sauce, which is fermented. Fermentation process changes the molecular structure of the soybean, so it's not as bad for you, but you know, that's a lot of salt, you know. Okay, so there we have that. The noodles are done. The shrimps just need just a little bit more time. Our chicken is going nice and happily. We're gonna start adding our vegetables to this next. There's an assortment of vegetables in that. And when it comes to doing stir fries for just 2 people, it makes no sense to buy a whole lot of ingredients that you only need a little smidge of. So these bagged stir fry kit things are actually very convenient, and they're just as good. If you're cooking for a large group, or you're going to be using a lot of those ingredients in other dishes, and by all means, you know, go and buy all the individual ingredients. Some of the things you can use is squashes like zucchini and the yellow squash, more peas. You can definitely use some bean sprouts if you want to do kind of like almost a chop suey like thing application. I'm going to take a little bit of this slurry. I'm just going to add a smidge of slurry to it because I think that's going to be enough. So we're just going to use the rest of that just to give it a little bit more, just to give it a little bit more liquid and to make it just a little slightly bit saucy on the bottom. Okay. So, stirry, 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 stir. And when you're stir frying vegetables, when you're doing a stir fry, you don't have to cook them all the way through. Just enough to, you know, knock some of the rawness off of it, but leave some texture to it. It should have some bite. So, but these are mostly greens or leafy vegetables, so it's okay to just let it do its thing for just a little bit longer. I like the fact that there's not a lot of carrot in there. I'm not fond of carrots, but it adds to the color as well as the bell peppers. So there's that. See how that sauce is starting to thicken? I don't know. Can you see that very well? This back pan, Timmy? Flip the chickens back over onto the meat side. Try to pull that skin back over the top because we don't want to destroy the aesthetic of that beautiful chicken skin. Alright, so now we got a little bit of velveting action happening at the bottom of the pan from the cornstarch. Everything's fully cooked. It doesn't take long at all, really. Just a few minutes. And there we have it. So, let's see here. Hey, M. Buglet. Hey, Judy May. Got a quick question, hopefully. What does it mean in your analytics page, or when you check on the status of your video, unique viewers? I don't know. I don't remember seeing that.
It says viewers aren't subscribed.
Huh?
And it says viewers aren't subscribed, maybe.
Oh, viewers aren't subscribed?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. Jerry and Eddie might know.
Just go into
I don't think I've really paid much attention. Okay, so there we have it. So, of course, you know, this is a spirit plate for my dad because we're going to invite my ancestors to come. And it's not necessary to put a huge batch of food out. Just a little plate in recognition of them, in honor of them. So, I'm just going to give my ancestors a little smidge of everything. And of course a chicken thigh. Maybe just a little pinch of a chicken thigh. Let's see here. One of these had an extra little chunk on it. So we're just going to break off a little piece of that chicken just to put there. And this is a spirit plate. This is a tradition in the Philippines when you are celebrating the life of a departed loved one. You create a spirit plate, usually around the holidays, like Christmas and their birthdays and anniversaries and Christmas and so on and so on. And this plate doesn't get eaten by living human beings. So you invite your ancestors to come eat. And you just light a candle, which we have right here. Then for Timmy and I, we need a plate. For our dinner. So our chicken is ready to rock and roll. Our noodles have a nice Maillard reaction happening on the bottom where they're kind of sticking a little bit to the bottom of the pan. That tells me they're ready to rock and roll. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's nice and colorful, light, easy, bright, so on and so on. So first we're going to start with rice. And I promise I'll do the biko or butter mochi on another video. I don't believe I've done that one yet on a video. Then we're going to take our chicken. I'm going to put our chicken right on top of the rice, okay? And then we're going to take our tongs, give it a shaky shake, and grab a little bit of that noodle. I'm going to put it down. A little bit of the vegetable just to brighten it up. Maybe a little bit more vegetable, maybe one of those peas. And then we're going to get a ladle. I'll ladle off some of that sauce over the top because that's where all the delightfulness is. This is where all the magic happens, is right there in that sauce. So drizzle, drizzle, just like so. And there we have it. In honor of my father for his 118th birthday. Happy belated birthday in heaven, Dad. I miss you and love you. Alright. Fix up another plate. Grab a chicky chick. Drop it right there. Put that over there. Stir the sauce a little bit. Put some of that gravy over the top. Grab some nudes, because we need nudes. And there's our plate. Alright, Munchie Mafia. There we have it. We don't have anything to spin for because we usually do our spins on Sundays. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Should I come in for a money shot or should I just hold it up to the camera up top? Maybe just hold it up to the camera up top so y'all can see this. Because it is quite beautiful. So let's go to the upstairs camera. Are we on the upstairs camera?
We're upstairs.
Upstairs camera. There we have it. And that's pancit canton and chicken adobo with steamed rice, guys. In that case, it's only peas and green beans. Well, you know, if that's all that you can eat, you get yourself to eat as far as vegetables are concerned, then that's what it is. Peas and green beans it is. It's fine. It's perfectly all right. You do it however way you want. And like I said, if you don't like shrimp or you're allergic to seafood, you can do chicken or tofu. You can even do a little bit of pork, maybe some Chinese barbecue pork. He's not ordering DoorDash. He wants this. He loves this. He's had it before. It's really good. Trust me. So, there we have it. And I'll actually eat this carrot. It's got a little bit of texture to it. It's got some good flavor. I like it. What? No, you don't. Give it to you? Tell you what, Double Dog, when I move down there, this will be one of the first meals I cook for y'all. We'll even do it I'll even show you how to do it over an open flame on a barbecue. We're up to 19 boxes packed. Hell no, never mind. No, but maybe in October, if we get a chance to make it down to the Ren Fair, we'll go grocery shopping and I'll get all the stuff and we'll all have a nice meal. We'll cook it over at your house. So, if that's okay, Double Dog, that's up to you. You know, come down for the Ren Fair with you guys. That'd be kind of fun. And I'll definitely cook this. But it is really good. If you like Filipino food, this is spot on. That's acceptable. Okay, so that's acceptable because I'll go home afterwards. So we're all good, okay? So let's see what we could do about getting out there for the Ren Fair and go down there with you and Gary and Jerry. Yeah, Judy, I think all of us have unique viewers. So anyway, Judy May Collins did her her stab at the mystery wheel of misfortune, and was quite funny. So you got to go watch the video before you watch the crazy lady short where she's tasting it. Go watch the video and see how she put it all together, okay? Do that. She challenged 3 individuals to a stab at the mystery wheel of misfortune. And that is Jerry, Eddie, and Simon. And Devil Dog already said nope. So go check out Judy May Collins. And also, while you're at it, if you did not hear at the very beginning, please go and visit Butler Family Farm 2005. Go take a look at their little video that they created. I don't know if anybody can share it, but it talks about the America's favorite couple. Go and vote for them, and you can vote one time every 24 hours. Please, let's rack up those votes so they can win a triple date with Jeff Goldblum and his wife Emily and the other 2 actors that will be going on this triple date. And the proceeds for that, you don't have to donate to the cause. You don't have to buy votes. But if you do decide that you want to buy votes for extra votes, the money goes to 2 charitable causes. One is the Los Angeles Food Bank. The other one is Oceana, and they work with ocean conservation globally. And lastly, Devil Dog has got a little video out. It talks about his channel and welcoming new subscribers to his channel. Go check that out too, and give it a thumbs up, and maybe even hype it too. All of us are in there talking about Devil Dog. So if you have not subscribed to Devil Dog, please do so. And don't forget, we all have memberships. Show us some support. So anyway, Munchie Mafia, that's it for the night. I'm really worn out, tired. So I wasn't expecting to be here this long. But, you know, sometimes perfection takes a little bit more time. And braising anything takes a bit longer, but this is definitely worth it. So Munchie Mafia, it is that time for us to say goodbye. And we all know how much I hate goodbyes, so it's just a fond good night and a sad little toodaloo, and we'll see you out on the YouTube streets. But our next people going up live is going to be Saturday with Devil Dog, and then Belt Loop 29 after that, and then Sunday it's we're going back to let's see, Whistle Stop Homestead maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't look to see if he was going live. And then there's of course Munchie Mafia on Sunday. So don't forget, cook with love and eat with passion. And thank you for sharing this time, celebrating the person who donated to my existence. So to the spirits, come eat. Good night, everybody.
Well, Munchie Mafia, it is that time we really hate saying goodbye. So let's just say a fond good night or a sad little toodaloo. Perhaps even that till next time. Or how about a tap-tap for now? We will be here or on Devil Dog, because Eddie Ho needs love too. This has been really fun with all our friends, no matter if you are old or new. So before you let that door slam behind you, fondle that like button lovingly, and then go over to Devil Dog to see his boot. Loving and feedback, fetish, love and bestie, affectionately known as Thanksgiving. Oh, says the Devil Dog. Tonight we shout out to Devil Dog. Give a salute to the that you do for everyone. The true embodiment, always faithful. Semper Fi, Eddie. You do this country proud, but for the love of all things sugar free. Can you please learn how to crack an egg? Says the devil dog. Adapt and overcome, mighty soldier. Those chickens are relying on you. Says the devil dog. Do you really need all those balls I see? Another crop dusting in your future, bro. Says the devil dog. Thanks for coming. And please remember to cook with love and eat with passion. Mo, mo, mo. Mo, 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 mo. That Call of Duty ain't playing itself. Eddie, get to it. Now please remember to cook with love and eat with passion. Mo, 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 mo. That Call of Duty ain't playing itself. Eddie, get to it. Says the devil dog.
What are you doing, Simi?
Huh?
Huh? Simi?
Hey, you little green prick.
Hey, you little yellow prick.
Is that a prick, or are you just glad to see me? Oh, wait, that's Eddie.
Same thing.